Hello everyone. So today we're going to do something just a little bit different, and that is try and crack password hashes. So a lot of times if you successfully compromise a host, you'd like to harvest credentials from that host, either so you can log back on, or so you can use those credentials to move across the network. And one of the ways you can do that is you get the password hashes, and then you try and crack the hashes. So we're going to talk a lot about the theory of doing that in the lecture. In this video, I just wanted to show you sort of the practical steps you can take to attack hashes. So first of all, I'm going to add a user. Oh, excuse me. Add user test. Oh, I've already added this guy. I'll add a test 2. And I'm going to create a password. Password will just be cat, all lowercase. So why did I pick a short password? Well, the longer the password, the harder it is to attack the hash normally. And this virtual machine is not set up to use the GPU, so I have to do the attack using my CPU, which is quite slow. So if you want to do this attack against a real set of hashes, you probably want to do this on your host with a high-powered GPU. But we'll try it this way for purposes of training. All right, so let's go to the root directory. Let's go to etc, gedit shadow. So here are all your users and all their passwords and hashes. So you can see here's root. So here's test, and here's the guy I just added, which is test2. So we've got the username, we've got which type of hash you're using. Between here and between these two $signs is the salt, which we're going to talk about in the lecture, and then from here to the colon is the actual hash. So to attack this hash, we're going to need this data. Oh, not the colon. So copy everything between these two colons. Alright. So I'm going to go back to my home directory. I'm going to go to, I have a hashes directory created, yep. And gedit hash.list. Alright, so I'm going to save this file in here. And the first thing we're going to want to do is create a dictionary, which we're going to talk more about in the lecture. But essentially the idea is we're going to create a list of passwords, and we're going to hash them, and we're going to compare the two hashes. They're going to compare the hash I got from my dictionary and the hash I have in my hash list and see if they match. And if they do, then that must be the password. So I have to create this dictionary. I'm going to use this color tool called Crunch. I'm going to say I want all 3-letter words, all lowercase 3-letter words, and I want them to be put in wordlist.txt. So again, you don't have to do lowercase if you don't want to. You could modify the settings to do all possible 3-letter combinations, including upper and lowercase. It's just going to make it take longer. And again, I'm not running this with a GPU, so I want to do a simplified example, so we'll finish in a reasonable amount of time. So let's just take a quick look at the word list, and you can see it says advertised, just a big list of 3-letter words. All right. So now I'm going to use this program called Hashcap. If you don't have it installed, apt-get install Hashcat should do the trick, but I already have it. So let's start the attack. Hashcat -m. So I have to pick what type of hash I'm using. If you look in the table, you'll see this corresponds to the 6. And then I have to say the type of attack, where I want my output to go. I just want it to be cracked. And by default, since I'm not using a GPU, it's going to tell me it's going to be really slow, bail out, so I'm going to force it to continue. If you're running with a GPU setup, then you don't need this force. I'm going to give it my hash list, and I'm going to give it my dictionary. Alright. So we just have to wait here for a couple of minutes. Chug, chug, chug. It's just going through all those dictionary entries, hashing each entry, and then comparing it with the hash that I put in the file. So I've got the option here to wait. I've got the option to continue or checkpoint it. Fortunately, it finished. So let's go ahead and look at my cracked file. All right, so you see it's got the hash, or so this is the type of hash we used. This is the salt. Again, this is the hash, and here's the decrypted password. So they got it right. So that's really all there is to it. So give it a shot. Shoot me any questions, and check out the lecture where we discuss a lot of the theoretical details of doing this in practice. Thank you, guys.